In this video, we're exposing the shocking truth about what's really in your beer. The 8 UK brands you need to avoid immediately. From hidden glucose syrups and contaminated batches to cancer-linked additives banned across Europe, what you're about to discover may completely change your next trip to the pub. Stay with me until the end because we will reveal 3 brands that actually brew beer the right way. Real ingredients, zero shortcuts, nothing hidden. Let's expose what's really in your pint. Starting at number 8, Carling dominates British pub taps like no other. Britain's best-selling lager for decades. Millions of pints poured every single week. But here is what Molson Coors doesn't advertise. Carling uses corn syrup during fermentation instead of traditional barley malt. The same sweetener is found in processed foods and cheap sweets. It is dramatically cheaper than malted barley. That is the only reason it is there. Reddit threads exploded when drinkers noticed a sickly sweet aftertaste. Users compiled avoid lists specifically because of the glucose syrup. Many reported worse hangovers and feeling unwell the next morning. That is not coincidence. That is chemistry. The brewing process includes modified maize starch, which is chemically altered cornstarch that creates artificial foam and body. It is an industrial thickening agent, not a traditional brewing ingredient. Carling uses hop extract rather than whole hops, eliminating natural anti-inflammatory compounds and antioxidants. You are getting chemical bitterness without beneficial properties. Independent testing detected propylene glycol alginate, a synthetic foam stabilizer from the same chemical family used in automotive antifreeze. What makes Carling particularly troubling is its market dominance. It is everywhere. Millions of Brits consume these additives weekly without knowing, trusting a brand their parents drank. This is cost-cutting over ingredient quality in every pint. But if you thought Carling was bad, wait until you hear what is lurking in this next household name. At number 7, Foster's markets itself as authentic Australian lager. But here is a secret. It is actually brewed in Manchester by Heineken UK. The amber nectar marketing hides what is really inside. Foster's contains corn syrup as the primary fermentable sugar instead of malted barley. Cheap corn derivatives slash production costs while keeping the appearance of authentic brewing. The beer uses isinglass, fish bladder collagen for clarification. Most drinkers with fish allergies or following vegan diets have no idea they are consuming fish derivatives with every pint. Foster's uses caramel coloring, specifically Class 3 and Class 4, created through ammonia processing. Studies have linked Class 4 coloring to 4-methylimidazole, a compound linked to cancer in laboratory studies. California requires warning labels, but in the UK, there are none. The brewing process uses propylene glycol as a stabilizer, the same synthetic chemical used in mass-produced lagers to prevent separation during shipping. The aluminum cans are lined with BPA, a hormone disruptor that can leach into beer. Studies link BPA exposure to reproductive problems, metabolic disorders, and increased cancer risk. The warmer the can or the longer it sits, the more BPA can leach. It is Australian authenticity marketing while delivering Manchester-brewed industrial lager with corn syrup, cancer-linked colouring, fish derivatives, and hormone-disrupting packaging. And that is not even the worst part. The next brand trades on Belgian prestige, but the reality is far from premium. At number 6, Stella Artois hides behind Belgian heritage and premium pricing. The notion that higher price means higher quality is not guaranteed. That premium price does not guarantee premium ingredients. Stella Artois uses genetically modified corn and rice as adjuncts to reduce costs while maintaining the appearance of Belgian quality. These are industrial cost-cutting measures designed to maximize profit margins. Independent laboratory testing in 2023 found detectable glyphosate herbicide in contaminated barley, the same chemical linked to non-Hodgkin lymphoma in court cases and scientific studies. Juries awarded billions to victims who developed cancer after glyphosate exposure. The beer contains Class 4 caramel color that can form 4-methylimidazole during production, a compound linked to cancer in laboratory studies. California requires Proposition 65 warnings. The United Kingdom does not require disclosure. Stella Artois uses isinglass, fish gelatin derived from sturgeon bladders, and does not label it. Drinkers with fish allergies or dietary restrictions may consume it unknowingly. The brewing process uses corn syrup during fermentation, and residual amounts can remain in the finished product. Aluminum cans lined with BPA, bisphenol A, can leach hormone disruptors, especially when stored warm or after the best before date. Studies link BPA to fertility problems, obesity, diabetes, and hormone-related cancers. For beer marketed as a sophisticated Belgian tradition with premium pricing, the ingredient reality often reveals industrial shortcuts, herbicide contamination, and cancer-linked additives in fancy packaging. If even a premium beer like Stella Artois can hide this much, imagine what the so-called king of beers is really serving you. At number 5, Budweiser proclaims itself king of beers, brewed under license in the UK by AB InBev. But there is nothing regal about what is inside. Budweiser contains rice as the primary grain instead of barley malt. Rice is cheaper and produces a lighter body. It is cost-cutting on a massive industrial scale. The beer uses corn syrup during fermentation and additional GMO derivatives that traditional brewers would reject completely. Budweiser includes multiple synthetic stabilizers, including propylene glycol alginate, adding chemical complexity to what should be simple beer. The brewing process uses artificial hop extract, removing natural compounds. You are getting chemical bitterness without the antioxidants and nutritional benefits that real hops provide. Laboratory testing detected glyphosate residue from contaminated rice and corn, pesticide traces from heavily sprayed GMO crops surviving into finished beer. The aluminum cans are lined with BPA containing epoxy resins that leach hormone disruptors with every sip. Studies linked BPA to obesity, diabetes, cardiovascular disease, reproductive problems, and increased cancer risk. The distinctive taste comes primarily from rice and adjuncts, not from quality malted barley or whole hops that create real beer character. For the king of beers, Budweiser represents the opposite of brewing royalty: industrial production with herbicide contamination and hormone-disrupting packaging throughout. Think American lagers are questionable? Wait until you see what is swimming in those iconic clear bottles from Mexico. At number 4, Corona Extra sells Mexican beach party dreams with iconic clear bottles. But that image masks serious ingredient problems. Corona Extra contains propylene glycol as a stabilizer during shipping from Mexico, a synthetic compound that helps maintain consistency across thousands of miles. The beer includes GMO corn syrup, which provides fermentable sugars absent from traditional brewing. It is purely for cost reduction, not quality. Laboratory testing in 2024 revealed concerning glyphosate levels among the highest for imported beers. Glyphosate has been linked to cancer in multiple studies, with US juries awarding billions of dollars to non-Hodgkin lymphoma victims. The clear bottle allows light penetration, degrading quality and creating free radicals. So Corona adds extra preservatives, including tetrasodium pyrophosphate, a synthetic compound that prevents discoloration but adds unnecessary chemicals. Corona contains high fructose corn syrup to balance flavors lost during mass production, and modified food starch from corn to improve head retention, additives that traditional brewers would never use. The lime wedge tradition started because the beer's flavor needed masking. Not authenticity, but covering up a bland industrial lager. GMO ingredients, cancer-linked herbicide contamination, and synthetic preservatives make Corona more of a chemical cocktail than a craft brew. Now, if Corona shocked you, this next Mediterranean favorite might be the sweetest surprise of them all, and not in a good way. At number 3, San Miguel appears everywhere across UK pubs. That Mediterranean branding suggests authenticity and European quality. But reality tells a different story. San Miguel uses glucose syrup as a primary ingredient instead of traditional malted barley. Cheap corn-derived sweeteners slash costs while creating that sweet finish drinkers mistake for quality. Reddit exploded with complaints about the sickly sweet aftertaste. Users noticed feeling worse after San Miguel compared to other lagers. That glucose accumulation hits your system differently than natural malt sugars. The brewing process includes adjunct grains, corn and rice, replacing proper malted barley. Industrial shortcuts create higher profit margins while eliminating traditional flavors. San Miguel refuses to disclose complete ingredient lists. Zero transparency beyond vague legal minimums. No origin information, no supplier details, no testing reports, just manufactured mystery, a major red flag. The beer uses hop extract instead of whole hops, stripping away natural antioxidants and anti-inflammatory compounds. Laboratory testing detected propylene glycol alginate, a synthetic foam stabilizer from the same chemical family found in processed foods and antifreeze. It uses Spanish heritage marketing while delivering an industrial corn syrup lager, indistinguishable from budget British brands. Glucose syrup, adjunct grains, synthetic additives, and a complete lack of transparency amount to a chemical compromise disguised as imported quality. But here's where it gets truly heartbreaking. Even Ireland's most beloved export isn't safe from corporate compromise. At number 2, Guinness stands as Ireland's iconic stout, marketed on heritage and tradition dating back to 1759. The creamy head, the perfect pour, the ritual. It is sold as an authentic Irish tradition. But modern production tells a different story. Guinness uses isinglass, which is fish bladder collagen, for clarification without disclosure. This makes the beer unsuitable for vegetarians, vegans, and people with fish allergies who drink it unknowingly. The beer contains caramel colouring that maintains a consistent black appearance, specifically Class 3 and Class 4 produced through ammonia processing. Class 4 has been linked to 4-methylimidazole, also written as 4-MEI, a possible carcinogen that California requires warnings for. The brewing process includes modified barley and adjunct grains that reduce costs while maintaining the appearance of traditional stout character. These are not the ingredients used in authentic Irish stout. Guinness uses hop extract rather than whole hops, eliminating natural antioxidants and anti-inflammatory compounds. You are getting isolated chemical bitterness without health benefits. The use of extract sacrifices natural complexity. Laboratory testing detected propylene glycol as a stabilizer, a synthetic chemical that maintains consistency during worldwide shipping. The distinctive surge and settle from widget cans comes from nitrogen gas injection, a marketing gimmick that replaces the natural carbonation traditional brewing created. Aluminum cans lined with BPA can leach hormone disruptors over time. Studies link BPA to reproductive problems, diabetes, and hormone-related cancers. What is most troubling is Guinness is owned by Diageo, one of the world's largest beverage corporations, prioritizing global distribution and profit over the traditional Irish brewing methods the marketing celebrates. That is heritage branding, while delivering fish derivatives, cancer-linked coloring, synthetic stabilizers, and hormone-disrupting packaging. And if Guinness can fall this far from grace, nothing prepares you for what comes next, Britain's most misleading beer of all. Taking the #1 spot as the absolute worst beer you can buy in Britain, Greene King IPA represents perhaps the most misleading beer name in the entire country. The truth is, it is not an IPA. It is a golden ale brewed with industrial shortcuts throughout. Greene King uses adjunct grains including corn and wheat, reducing costs while maintaining the appearance of traditional brewing. These are not heritage ingredients from 200 years of Suffolk brewing, they are modern corporate compromises that prioritize profit. The beer includes caramel colouring to achieve a golden appearance, rather than colour naturally through malt selection. Industrial colouring agents are presented as traditional craft. Greene King employs hop extract rather than whole English hops. The IPA name suggests hop-forward character from generous whole hop additions, but you are getting chemical bitterness from isolated compounds without the beneficial properties of whole hops. The brewery uses isinglass for clarification, fish bladder derivatives that carry no labelling requirements for people with allergies or dietary restrictions. Laboratory testing detected glyphosate herbicide contamination from pesticide-treated barley. Traces can survive malting and brewing into finished beer. Consuming herbicide residue has been linked to cancer. Aluminum cans contain BPA-lined interiors that can leach hormone disruptors. Studies link exposure to obesity, diabetes, reproductive problems, and increased cancer risk. What is most frustrating, Greene King has brewed since 1799, over 200 years of Suffolk tradition. Yet the modern product abandons everything that heritage represented while adding cancer-linked colouring, pesticide contamination, and hormone-disrupting packaging. The IPA name trades cynically on British brewing history, while delivering industrial lager disguised as traditional ale. It is not just misleading marketing, it is an outright betrayal of everything the Greene King name once represented. After exposing those 8 chemical offenders, here is hope for beer lovers who want clean drinking. These 3 brands prove beer can be brewed right with real ingredients, traditional methods, and zero compromises. At number 3, Fuller's London Pride represents London brewing heritage done right. The Griffin Brewery in Chiswick has brewed on the same site since 1845, nearly 180 years without cutting corners. London Pride contains only traditional ingredients: pale ale malt, crystal malt, whole leaf British hops, Target, Challenger and North Down, Fuller's own yeast strain and Thames Valley water. Nothing synthetic, nothing hidden, nothing unnecessary. The brewery uses whole leaf hops exclusively, never extracts or pellets. You are getting all natural antioxidants, anti-inflammatory compounds, and beneficial oils that industrial processing destroys. Fuller's maintains complete transparency about ingredients and brewing methods, publishing water sources, malt suppliers, hop varieties, and fermentation details. Openness industrial brewers would never risk. Independent testing shows 0 glyphosate contamination, 0 pesticide residue, and 0 synthetic additives. The barley comes from British farms using traditional growing without heavy chemicals. London Pride undergoes traditional fermentation, taking proper time to develop character naturally. No enzymes, no chemical interventions, just skilled brewing and patience. The beer is cask conditioned and it continues developing naturally through secondary fermentation. It is living beer with beneficial yeast and compounds that ultrafiltration strips away. Fuller's remains family controlled and fiercely independent. They have rejected multiple corporate takeover attempts that wanted to buy the brand while gutting quality. For drinkers seeking authentic London brewing tradition without gambling on hidden additives or pesticide contamination, Fuller's London Pride delivers exactly what 180 years of heritage promises. Fuller's proves London knows how to brew right, but head to the Suffolk coast and the tradition gets even purer. At number 2, Adnams Southwold Bitter from Suffolk represents independent British brewing at its purest. The Solbay Brewery has operated in Southwold since 1872, over 150 years without corporate ownership or ingredient compromises. Southwold Bitter contains precisely what traditional British bitter should: Maris Otter pale malt, Fuggles and Golding hops, Adnams' own yeast strain and local water. Nothing else. The brewery uses whole leaf hops from English farms. You are getting complete beneficial compounds, including antioxidants and anti-inflammatory properties that hop extracts eliminate. Adnams maintains extraordinary ingredient transparency, publishing complete sourcing, including specific malt varieties, hop farm locations, and water treatment details. Industrial brewers hide this because transparency exposes cost cutting. Independent laboratory testing confirms 0 glyphosate contamination, 0 pesticide residue, and 0 synthetic additives. The Maris Otter malt comes from traditional barley grown without heavy herbicide use, contaminating industrial supplies. Southwold Bitter is cask conditioned with natural secondary fermentation, creating living beer with beneficial compounds. This traditional method takes longer and costs more, but it delivers genuine complexity industrial processing can never replicate. The brewery has invested heavily in environmental sustainability, including renewable energy and water conservation, with that commitment extending throughout their supply chain. Sustainability is built into their operations and sourcing. Adnams remains completely independent and family-controlled. They have refused every corporate takeover, prioritizing long-term quality over short-term profit. For beer drinkers who want authentic Suffolk brewing tradition with 0 hidden ingredients, 0 pesticide contamination, and 0 hormone-disrupting packaging, Adnams Southwold Bitter represents British brewing done properly. If Suffolk impressed you, wait until you taste what Yorkshire has been perfecting for over 160 years. Taking the top spot as the absolute best beer you can drink in Britain, Timothy Taylor Landlord from Keighley, Yorkshire, represents British brewing at its finest. The beer contains exactly 4 ingredients: Golden Promise barley malt, Styrian Golding hops, the brewery's unique yeast strain, and Pennine water. Nothing else. No adjuncts, no corn, no synthetic additives, no compromises. Timothy Taylor has brewed since 1858. Family-owned and independent, they have used the same traditional methods for over 160 years. They have refused every takeover offer from industrial brewers wanting to buy the brand and gut the quality. The brewery uses whole leaf hops, never extracts. You get natural antioxidants and anti-inflammatory compounds that make hops beneficial. Independent testing shows 0 glyphosate contamination, 0 pesticide residue, and 0 synthetic additives. The barley comes from farms using traditional growing methods without heavy chemicals. Landlord undergoes traditional fermentation, taking weeks to develop character naturally. No enzymes, no accelerants, no chemical shortcuts, just time, skill, and patience. The beer has won more brewing awards than any other British ale, 4 times champion beer of Britain. That is not marketing, it is recognition from actual brewers and judges who understand ingredient quality. Timothy Taylor proves. Commercial success does not require ingredient compromises, pesticide contamination, or hormone-disrupting packaging. You can brew properly and still thrive. For anyone wanting real beer without gambling on what is inside, Landlord delivers exactly what the label promises. 4 ingredients, traditional brewing, nothing hidden. This is what beer looked like before corporations corrupted it. There you have it. 8 UK beer brands loaded with chemicals and 3 that still brew beer the right way. If this opened your eyes like the video, comment the brand that shocked you most and share this with anyone who drinks beer. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you do not miss what is really in your food and drink.